All right, let's clear up some confusion about vitamin D, shall we? Today we're going to discuss the difference between vitamin D dangers and vitamin D toxicity. They're not the same thing. It's incredibly rare to actually overdose on vitamin D. True vitamin D toxicity usually involves just one symptom: excessive calcium in the blood. I had a chat with Professor Bruce Hollis, a leading expert in vitamin D research, and asked him if he'd ever encountered a true case of vitamin D toxicity. His answer? Never. And this is someone who's been involved in countless vitamin D studies. You would have to consume massive amounts of vitamin D3. We're talking hundreds of thousands of international units, for months on end to even come close to toxicity. Yet many people get nervous about taking even 10,000 IUs. It might seem like a big number, but let me show you something. This is a pharmacology textbook, and on page 1687, it lists the maintenance dose of vitamin D as 50,000 to 250,000 units daily. Yet in more recent editions, that number has plummeted to just 400 to 600 IUs. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now here's the thing about vitamin D, it needs magnesium to work properly. If you're deficient in magnesium and you start taking a lot of vitamin D, you could actually worsen that deficiency. Think of them as partners in crime. They need each other to function optimally. Even when it comes to the main concern with vitamin D toxicity, too much calcium in the blood, magnesium comes to the rescue. Magnesium acts as a natural calcium channel blocker, preventing calcium from building up in the wrong places. Too much calcium can lead to blood clots, and guess what? Magnesium helps regulate that process. Next up, we have zinc. The receptor that allows vitamin D to do its job is dependent on zinc. If you're even slightly deficient in zinc and start taking vitamin D, that deficiency can become more pronounced. Why? Because your need for zinc increases when you take more vitamin D3. So, what are the signs of a zinc deficiency? You might notice changes in your sense of taste or smell, experience acne or flaky skin, or even have lower testosterone levels. Zinc is essential for testosterone production. Another important nutrient to consider is vitamin K2. This vitamin helps prevent calcium buildup in the arteries and directs calcium to where it's needed most, your bones and teeth. And finally, we have vitamin A, specifically the active form called retinol. The receptors for vitamin A and vitamin D sometimes work together as a complex. They're like two peas in a pod. If one is lacking, the other won't function as well. Vitamin A also helps keep calcium out of your arteries. Signs of a vitamin A deficiency include difficulty seeing in the dark, dry eyes, dry skin, a weakened immune system, and even acne. Now, a few more points to consider. Always opt for vitamin D3 over vitamin D2. Vitamin D2 is synthetically made and not as potent. And while we're at it, avoid synthetic vitamin D3 as well. Look for natural sources. Here's a little insider tip. Many vitamin D supplements contain hidden fillers like maltodextrin or glucose syrup. These are cheap ingredients used to bulk up the product. To test for these hidden starches, open up a capsule, mix the contents with water, and add a few drops of iodine. If it turns dark purple, you've got starch. This is called the starch test. If there's no starch, the solution will remain yellow or clear. Let's circle back to magnesium for a moment. Where can you find this essential mineral? Leafy green vegetables are a great source, as they're rich in chlorophyll, which contains magnesium. Dark chocolate, the kind without added sugar, also contains magnesium. And while nuts can be a source, be mindful of consuming too many, as they can be high in calories. Pumpkin seeds are another excellent option. If you prefer to take a magnesium supplement, I recommend magnesium glycinate. It's easily absorbed, and I suggest taking at least 800 milligrams. Some people even need up to 2,400 milligrams to alleviate muscle cramps. Where can you find zinc? Red meat and shellfish are excellent sources. If you choose a zinc supplement, make sure it's in a blend with other trace minerals to avoid creating a copper deficiency over time. As for vitamin K2, if you're taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3, I recommend taking 100 micrograms of vitamin K2, specifically MK7, for every 10,000 IUs of D3. You can find K2 in high-quality grass-fed butter, kimchi, sauerkraut, grass-fed beef, and eggs. And finally, vitamin A. Remember, we're talking about retinol, not beta-carotene, which is found in plants. Don't rely on vegetables for your vitamin A needs. It won't be enough. Instead, focus on foods like egg yolks, liver, and my personal favorite, cod liver oil. Cod liver oil not only provides those beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, but also a balanced blend of vitamin A and D.